But moving on, we do have our health expert joining us this morning. We have Anne Omolayo, a certified caregiver who specializes in geriatrics caregiving. She is the coordinator and founder of Jordan Spring Care. And today she will be discussing how do you manage incontinence in the elderly. Now, there are many factors that causes incontinence, such as dementia. The cognitive decline in the elderly makes it difficult for them to locate the restroom and other things. Good to have you here, Omolayo.
Thank you for having me. It's actually Anne Omolayo Ayobadijo.
Anne Omolayo.
Ayobadijo.
Ayobadijo,
yes.
okay, yes.
Okay, so we're talking about dementia the last time, okay. And some of the health issues that come with dementia. One of it is incontinence. So because they forget a lot, they can remember 45 years ago better than 45 seconds, they become so disorientated, so they can't locate the restroom. So at that point, they probably do it on themselves. So it's a situation that embarrasses them. It's not something that it's done on purpose. And, you know, a lot of Nigerians have this stereotype that the elderly, they pee on themselves, they do everything on themselves. It's really not their fault. So we really need to demystify our understanding of the elderly. We need to really understand the aging process, because it is actually a decline. The body tones down drastically. Yes, so they can't really help themselves. I mean, I tell people that dementia in itself can occur even at an early age of 40, depending on your lifestyle. Yeah. And then part of the things that also causes incontinence as a result of dementia is if you're introducing things like coffee, tea, alcohol, or some certain medication actually causes them to use the restroom a lot. So you have, because of this, we educate people that if they need to use the restroom, sometimes, depending on your client, when you assess your client, remember, it's a non-medical service you're offering. Yeah. So you also need the medical team to be on board to be able to tell you what kind of care plan this person needs. The meal plans, the type of ailment that the person is going through, the stage and the phase of the dementia is very important for the caregiver to know, so as to give adequate care. Yeah. It's not like we are all caregivers as far as I'm concerned, but we need that professional training to be able to meet the needs of your client. We need love and compassion to deal with the elderly. If you don't have love, patience and compassion, you will make them feel less of themselves, and that's not where you want them to be. Yeah. So it's quite important we put measures in place. Like there's this chair called the commode, where you situate it beside their bed, and they can easily use that as a way to ease themselves. Yeah. And sometimes you might just need a stopwatch to time them and then guide them to the restroom.
So how do you deal with patients whose level of dementia has progressed to the point where the brain stops functioning and the level of control they have is 0 to none?
Good. I love your question. Now, like I said, you need the medical team. The doctor would actually come in and place the catheter. There's certain things that they can actually attach to the body that will collect the urine and also the fecal waste. So it's really important that the doctor comes in to check the patient regularly. Yeah. Now, we always do self-medication, unsolicited advice from people when we are dealing with the elderly. But really, they need professional care. And it's only caregivers that can give them that love and compassion. We forget that these people were very active when they were young, and they still remember that, so they feel embarrassed when they can't help themselves. We all, even as we are now, when we fall ill and we're not in control of our body, we get frustrated. Not to now talk of something that is a permanent damage to the brain. So you have to assist them with love. Some of them are a bit cranky,
Yes.
but because you're the professional, you have to see them from a different light. And that's why I always emphasize, and I'm actually training people to see the need to love and have compassion on the elderly, because it cannot be overemphasized.
Now, still talking about dementia, because my grandma, until she passed, she had dementia. Okay. And there's a point where they get to where they're very aggravated. Yes. Now, as a caregiver, how do you manage them in such conditions? Because sometimes it starts from like level 0 of aggravation all the way up. Now, how do you handle them at that point? As
a caregiver, one of the things you're taught to do is to observe and monitor. Like, the person might be experiencing what you call sundown disorientation. It might be because of the light in the environment. Because when you're dealing with the elderly, especially those with dementia, you need to change the aesthetics of the environment. You have to have an architect come in and install certain things that will aid them. You have to have an interior decorating. It's a surprise to people when you say, oh, you have to change the environment and make it more comfortable for them. What causes aggression in some elderly people is light. They can't stand the intensity of light, and it confuses them a lot. So you have drapes. So you create this very warm, cozy environment, even during the day. Okay. So it's very important.
Thank you so much, Omolaya. I have learned something, and I'm sure a lot of people have.
Thank you for having me.
And definitely we might continue this conversation next week. Who knows? If you want more information, definitely you should visit our YouTube channel and get more information on how to care for people who have dementia, or you can use the social media platforms and communicate with our specialists. But on Wake Up Nigeria, we have so much more. You do not want to go anywhere. We will be right back.